to pass both of its 2 articles of impeachment brought against Trump. The first charging Trump with abuse of his power by pressuring Ukraine to pursue investigations that could benefit his re-election campaign, and the second accuses him of obstructing Congress by directing administration officials and agencies not to comply with lawful House subpoenas for testimony and documents related to impeachment. This is the 3rd time a president has been impeached in U.S. history. The case will now head to the Senate. Trump has denied wrongdoing and earlier called the impeachment drive an attempted coup by Democrats seeking to nullify his 2016 election victory. He is seeking another 4-year term in the November 2020 presidential elections. Goldman Sachs is in talks with American authorities to admit guilt and pay a massive fine in the 1MDB bribery scandal to end a U.S. criminal probe, according to a report on Thursday. The global finance giant is near an agreement with the Justice Department on a fine of close to $2 billion in the corruption case involving the Malaysian government's investment fund, the Wall Street Journal reported, citing people familiar with the matter. A spokeswoman for the bank declined to provide details on the possible settlement. Resolution discussions are ongoing, and it is irresponsible to speculate on an outcome, she told AFP by email. Malaysia's extraordinary 1MDB corruption scandal allegedly saw top officials loot billions from a state fund and go on a worldwide spending spree, buying up super yachts, paintings by Van Gogh and Monet, and financing a Hollywood blockbuster. The Justice Department has said more than $4.5 billion was stolen from 1MDB by high-level officials at the fund and their associates between 2009 and 2015. Goldman helped raise $6.5 billion for the fund, and 2 ex-bankers are accused of misappropriating billions, bribing officials, and giving false statements in relation to bond issues they arranged for the fund. As part of the deal, an Asian subsidiary of Goldman, rather than the parent company, could plead guilty to bribery charges, admitting that it ignored warning signs as the funds were looted, according to the journal. The bank also could accept an independent monitor to oversee changes to its procedure, according to the report. Former Goldman executive Tim Leisner pleaded guilty to bribery and money laundering conspiracy charges in the case and agreed to a lifetime ban from the securities industry. The scandal brought down Malaysia's former leader Najib Razak, who has pleaded not guilty. Malaysia's government also has filed criminal charges against Goldman. 5 accused drug smugglers from Hong Kong, Chile, Switzerland, and Thailand who were caught in Bali could face the firing squad if convicted, police on the Indonesian holiday island said Wednesday. The group, arrested in separate incidents this month and in November, were paraded in shackles and orange jumpsuits at Bali's airport customs office, escorted by machine gun-toting police, a common practice in Indonesia. Muslim-majority Indonesia has some of the world's toughest drug laws, including the death penalty for traffickers. While death sentences are often reduced to long jail terms, Indonesia has executed 4 nationals in the past, including 2 Australian masterminds of the Bali 9 heroin gang who were shot in 2015. 2 of the 5 are men from Hong Kong who were caught with 3.2 kilograms and 4.0 kilograms of methamphetamine, respectively, according to police. The Chilean was allegedly carrying 77 grams of meth, while a Swiss citizen was arrested with 30 grams of marijuana in his possession, according to police. The Thai man had nearly 18 grams of marijuana. Ida Bagus Komang Ardika, head of the Bali Police Narcotics Unit, said the law allows for a life sentence or the death penalty. A 6th female accused from Singapore who was caught with a small amount of cocaine would not face the death penalty, according to authorities. Indonesia has slowed the pace of its executions in recent years, despite broad public support for the penalty. In October, police said 2 Thai women and a Frenchman could face the death penalty after they were caught smuggling drugs into Bali. A French drug trafficker briefly on death row saw his sentence commuted to 19 years this summer. There are dozens of smugglers on death row in Indonesia, including a cocaine trafficking British grandmother, an American caught with crystal methamphetamine, and several West African inmates.
Ancaman tadi sudah disampaikan minimal 5 tahun karena pasalnya kan 113 35/2009 Undang-Undang Narkotika, minimal 5 tahun, maksimal 20 plus ada ancaman hukuman seumur hidup dan mati. Nah, itu maksimal. Berapa itu, Mas?
Tens of thousands of pigs have died from African swine fever in Indonesia's North Sumatra province, officials said Thursday, the first time the virus has been detected in the country. The disease has devastated swine herds in China and elsewhere in Asia, and initially Indonesia authorities put the death of 27,000 pigs down to hog cholera, a different virus with similar symptoms. But Fajar Sumping Catur Rasa, an official at Indonesia's Ministry of Agriculture, he said that laboratory tests had recorded evidence of African swine fever in 16 regencies and cities in North Sumatra. While the virus cannot be transmitted to humans, it is almost 100% fatal in pigs. Although Indonesia is the world's most populous Muslim nation and eating pork is forbidden by the Quran, the country also boasts a small non-Muslim majority in North Sumatra, and Bali is a Hindu island whose signature dish is roast pig. The UN's Food and Agriculture Agency said it was working with the government on containment, but the outbreak in Indonesia poses unique challenges. Unlike China, where huge herds are reared and processed in factory-like conditions and outbreaks can be contained, in Indonesia most pigs are raised in backyards or on small farms and sold at markets where the virus can easily spread.
When visiting the Philippines, Manila or Quezon City is a popular destination. But oftentimes the hustle and bustle of the city can be more stressful on your vacation. So when you feel the need to reconnect to nature or relax again, there's a beautiful oasis just outside of the city called the Garden at Ciudad de Victoria. Some of the species that you can see here include hydrangea, snapdragon, and stargazers. They're truly beautiful. The gardens at Ciudad de Victoria are so peaceful, tranquil, and beautiful that it's become a haven for young couples and a very popular venue for engagement photos. The next time you want an escape from the big city, the garden at Ciudad de Victoria is a wonderful place to visit.
Welcome back. 3 small explosions went off in a southern Rakhine town in Myanmar Thursday, just before civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi landed there in a rare visit to the conflict-ridden state, a local official said. The blast happened in the normally quiet town of Manaung on an island off Myanmar's western coast, where Suu Kyi was due to open a solar power plant. When Myanmar's spokesperson for Rakhine's regional government told AFP there were 3 explosions but no casualties. He said it happened before Suu Kyi arrived, but since they were on the other side of the town, the event went ahead as planned and she had since left safely on a flight to Yangon. This has never happened in Manaung before. No group has yet claimed responsibility for planting the small bombs, which detonated at the side of a road, photos from local media showed. The area has remained largely unscathed by unrest further north, where Myanmar's military is locked in an increasingly vicious conflict with the Arakan army. The rebel group claims to be fighting for more autonomy and rights for the ethnic Rakhine Buddhists and garners sympathy from many local people who have long felt marginalized in the Bamar majority country. But tens of thousands have fled their homes over the past year and dozens of civilians have been killed. The presidents of sanctions hit Iran called Thursday for Muslim countries to cooperate in fighting U.S. economic terrorism at the opening of a summit aimed at tackling the Islamic world's woes. Hundreds of delegates are attending the gathering in Malaysia, including heads of state and religious leaders, but the meeting has been snubbed by Saudi Arabia. The summit has also been criticized for undermining the Organization of Islamic Conference, the Saudi-based global body representing Muslim nations and organizations. Issues including the plight of Myanmar's Rohingya and China's mostly Muslim Uyghur minority could be discussed, although with massive Chinese infrastructure in many Islamic nations, criticism may be muted. In opening remarks, Iran's President Hassan Rouhani slammed Washington's global clout. The Muslim world needs to be saved from the domination of the United States dollar and the American financial regime, he added, calling for greater financial cooperation between Islamic countries. The United States reimposed crippling sanctions on Iran in 2018 after withdrawing from an international deal aimed at tackling the Islamic Republic's nuclear program. Iran's economy has since suffered a sharp economic downturn, with a plummeting currency sending inflation skyrocketing. Speaking later alongside other leaders, Rouhani listed areas where Muslim nations could work together, from the banking sector to the tourist industries. He proposed that Muslim countries' central banks could work together to introduce a unified cryptocurrency.
و همتنیدگی نظام‌های اقتصادی، تجاری و مالی بین المللی با نظام اقتصادی آمریکا و دلاریزه شدن اقتصادهای ملی و جهانی این امکان را برای ایالات متحده فراهم آورده تا سلطه‌جویی خود را با تهدیدات تحریمی و تروریسم اقتصادی پیش برده و خواسته‌های نامشروع خود را به کشورهای دیگر تحمیل کند.
The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, or BSP, on Thursday vowed to further widen the scope of its financial inclusion program after it was named as one of the best in the world. Global Microscope 2019, a publication of the Economist Intelligence Unit, ranked the Philippines as the 5th best among 55 countries worldwide and first in Asia, along with India, in terms of top countries that promote financial inclusion. The BSP on Wednesday said Global Microscope identified the country's efforts on 5 standard categories: the government stability and support, stability and integrity, products and outlets, consumer protection, and infrastructure. The BSP said the country also retained its top standing in credit portfolios for middle and low-income customers, market entry, and ongoing requirements for banks. The publication also noted measures to provide an environment that expand the coverage of digital financial services, particularly the National Strategy for Financial Inclusion, which is under the guidance of the Interagency Financial Inclusion Steering Committee. Among the programs under NSFI are the National Digital ID System, One-Stop Shop Program for Online Government Services, and the creation of the Central Bank's Financial Technology Subsector, which focuses on digital financial technology for the underserved. Programs toward addressing cybersecurity, connectivity, and frameworks for emerging services were also recognized. The BSP said these findings were positive overall, owing to the improved global enabling environment for financial inclusion. On Thursday, the central bank said it is delighted with the recognition. It said the country's top standing in Asia reflects the BSP's thrust of promoting the adoption of financial services through compelling use cases for digital payments. Risk-off sentiments continue to worry investors, resulting in the sideways close of the Philippine peso and negative close of the Philippine Stock Exchange Index Thursday. The local currency ended the day at 50.635 against the US dollar, little changed against the 50.631 close a day ago, which a trader pointed to wait-and-see stance for the US-China trade deal. It opened the day at 50.61, also sideways from its 50.57 start in the previous session. It traded between 50.665 and 50.61, resulting in an average level of 50.63. Volume totaled to 998.7 million US dollars, higher than the 762.1 million US dollars. The currency pair is seen to trade between 50.60 and 50.80 on Friday. On the other hand, all the counters in the local stock market ended on the red, with the main equities gauged down by 1.03% or 79.73 points to 7,653.94 points. All shares declined by 0.64% or 29.14 points to 4,558.85 points. Holding firms posted the highest decrease at 1.20% and was followed by industrial 1.15%, financials 1.007%, mining and oil 0.35%, property 0.27%, and services 0.10%. Volume reached 591.8 million shares, amounting to 12.6 billion pesos. Losers led gainers at 102 to 67, while 63 changers or shares were unchanged. And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Maricar Velasco and I am 1 with 25.